finna get your ass the game, man. You know I break it down. Come on, man, you know it's Bain.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Bain Break It Down Forex. It's your boy, Big Bain, in this thing. And you guys guessed it, another week, another opportunity for us to make some money in the Forex market. So let's get right to it, all right? Boom, over on the dollar, guys, we got this nice falling wedge into this demand level. I pretty much expect the dollar to respect this demand level, potentially get a little deeper, right? Possible sweep of liquidity behind the trend line. But after that, I definitely expect a rise. We could probably get it without the sweep, right? But I'm expecting a rise on the dollar because of the falling wedge pattern, all right? Yeah, so again, right out the gate, we could get that push, but we also could get a possible little, drawdown on the dollar before we get that rise. So look out for that before you get into your plays where the dollar rises. Bullish on the dollar. All right, moving over to JPYX, same exact thing, right? So it's sitting in a nice demand area and holding pretty well, but I do expect it to possibly sweep these equal lows that we see here and then push up to go and break above the highs, all right? Bullish on the JPY index. All right, over to our dollar, we have a nice rising channel coming into a major level of resistance, right? So I expect us to push up, take out that high, and then begin to fall. We do have a demand area that we have to look out for. So liquidity has been engineered right here. So we might push up, sweep it, and then come back up and sweep the high, or possibly just continue going higher as this is still bullish. All right, so on the odd dollar, you guys got to be real careful not to, sell into it just because it's at the high. We definitely want to see a change of character coming to the downside on the odd dollar before we start to sell it, because it is pretty heavily bullish at the moment, all right? But if we get the sweep and we get a change of character to the downside, I'll be bearish on the odd dollar, but for now it is still bullish, all right? Over to euro dollar, and you can see we have a nice rising wedge into this major level of supply. So guys, I expect euro dollar to fall nicely, all right, down to the next level of demand or support, which is this previous swing low, and we're talking 352 pips to the downside. I'm bearish on euro dollar, all right? This is all ready to go, just so you guys know, don't miss out, all right? Pound dollar, same exact thing. I do expect it to kind of sweep these equal highs, possibly take out this high. That's where my position lies, and then I'll be looking for it to drop over 400 to 500 pips on pound dollar. All right, New Zealand dollar looks like odd dollar, just a little bit with the bullish movement up into supply, but you can see we rejected supply nicely, and we're potentially going to have a move down once the dollar rises. So I'm bearish on New Zealand dollar, but be very careful, because you definitely won't want to see a change of character, just like on the odd dollar, before we sell New Zealand dollar, even though you can do what we did, right? Sell here, tight stop, but just letting you know that this is unconfirmed for the moment, all right? But bearish on New Zealand dollar. All right, over to dollar CAD, and again, I'm expecting it to rise up to this level of supply, and then from there potentially getting a drop. So for right now, I'm bullish on dollar CAD, but gotta watch out for when it gets to the supply area, if it's going to hold or not, all right? But for now, bullish. All right, dollar CHF, very nice falling wedge into this demand area, guys. So again, I'm bullish on this. This is a perfect position, and it is absolutely ready to go. We got everything checked out that we need for the dollar Swiss franc. So please don't miss out on this one for the buy, all right? I'm bullish. Dollar JPY, it's a little mixy, but because the dollar looks to be bullish this week, I'm going to go with the buy on USD JPY, all right? So bullish on that. Over to pound odd, and it looks like we just swept a low here, all right? And we just made a new low. So there's potential for us to start pulling back, all right, up to the supply area. But please understand, we still have bearish structure, so we can pull back to this supply area and can continue falling. So don't buy it without confirmation of a change of character, which will be breaking above this particular high, all right? So once you get above that, then you can definitely start looking for your buying opportunities back up to supply. All right, so for now, bearish on our dollar, but watching out for that change. If we get it, then I'll be bullish. All right, pound CAD has been setting up for a long time, right? Nice rising wedge after the sweep of this triple top, right? We've kind of started to go lower, and if we look on the lower time frame, we can see that, you know, we're getting that change of character right here, barely. So it's still bullish for right now. So I definitely want to see pound CAD kind of come below here and break below. If we do that, then pound CAD should definitely be ready for the drop. It is already, but it's taking its sweet time. All right, it's creating a little bit of a double top here, but like I said, once we break the neckline, that's going to be the confirmation that it will drop. So we'll just wait for it to pull back and then catch it all the way down, looking to make over 300 pips on pound CAD. Very nice plays for this week, guys. Don't miss out. All right, over to pound CHF. Okay, and it's a little mixy. I don't really like it. It's in the middle of nowhere, but I do see these equal lows that we could potentially sweep and possibly tap into this level of demand. But there's also liquidity sitting above it. So it's really anybody's ball game on how, you know, pound CHF wants to go. So, you know, be careful trading this. I would rather get into a sell from this level of supply or a buy from this level of demand. Don't really want to trade it in the middle of nowhere, right? So mixed on pound CHF. All right, pound JPY, nice rising wedge into supply. I think we're going to sweep the high a little bit, and then we're going to go to sweep the low, possibly getting to this level of demand. But be very careful, guys, because pound JPY is still bullish for the moment. All right, but I like my odds with a potential sweep and then a nice bearish candle coming back in below this red line, right, to let me know that we could potentially begin to fall more. All right, bearish on GJ. All right, pound New Zealand is looking like a good buying opportunity right now. All right, but what we want is once again confirmation, right? Because we're still bearish in this structure, right? So we're already in the supply area. We can continue heading down. So, you know, with that being known, we need to see price break above this particular high right here to know that it's ready to go back to the upside. And if it does, I'm looking to take pound New Zealand long for over 400 pips to the upside, guys. Very nice setups, very nice plays this week. You guys should be getting paid. All right, it's pound New Zealand. I'm bullish. Silver, all right, it's giving a nice rising channel, right? It broke out of it, and it's just, you know, kind of doing nothing for the moment. All the commodities have been rising. So I'm a little on the fence with silver, right? But because the dollar looks so bullish now, we may finally get that drop that we've been expecting on silver for quite some time. All right, moving over to gold. Now gold is kind of creating this triple top, right? And we did get a change of character on the lower time frame, and it's respecting that right now. So if I go to like the 15-minute, you guys will see here. All right, here it is. Let's go to the 30-minute. All right, this is better. And what you guys can see is right here is where we had our change of character. We came back up. We did not tap into supply. We just engineered this liquidity with these equal highs. So what I expect is for gold to push up, sweep that liquidity, tap into supply, and then drop. All right, guys, if that happens, right, that's going to be a huge play to make on gold, because again, like I said, that gold has been rising like crazy and it is overdue for a drop, you know, regardless of, you know, economic conditions. What the chart is showing us is that it's ready for a drop. All right, so again, you just got to be patient. Make sure that we get the sweep, right, rejection, and then bearish pressure, and then you sell it. Don't just sell it at this area, right, because it could still rise. All right, but I'm bearish on gold, and that lines up nicely with the dollar rising, by the way. All right, over to natural gas. All right, and you guys can see we had this nice falling wedge. Again, falling wedge is a bullish reversal pattern. It did just that, pushed all the way up, took out the high, started to fall down, and is heading to this demand area. So we could just get a continuation all the way back down, or we could get to demand, respect it, and start to rise. So we got to wait until we see what the story tells us before we make that decision. But for now, I'm indecisive on natural gas, but I'll be looking for a buy opportunity from this demand area trying to push it back up above those highs. All right, guys, because this would be the breakout, this will be the pullback, and then we should have, you know, another run up on natural gas. All right, crude oil, all right, still consolidating, not doing much of anything. I do believe it's gonna, you know, push down to this demand area before it begins to rise, but very indecisive on oil, so I'm gonna leave it alone until I see something more concrete. So indecisive for now. All right, over to SPY, and once again, SPY got me from news last week, waiting for the drop that just didn't quite happen when I expected it to, but now, you know, we're facing potential, all right, once again, of SPY dropping, right? It's still bullish with this structure, right? But you can see this nice bearish engulfing candle at this, you know, resistance area that came in, but we're stuck in this demand area. So it's very, you know, wishy-washy within this zone, all right? So from where we are now, we definitely could rise and continue rising. So with SPY, we definitely want to see price break below this particular low. If we get that, guys, it's time to go. All right, we'll take that. We could take that breakout, or we can wait until price pulls back to, you know, a point of interest, and then we'll take the sell from there at a higher price, at a premium price, and have a better risk to reward with confirmation that price should be falling on SPY. All right, but for now, SPY is bullish. All right, we just gotta, you know, be patient for it to, you know, show us its hand. All right, over to NAS, and NAS has a nice rising wedge on it. All right, so again, I'm expecting a drop on NAS, but we got to get below this level right here for confirmation of change. And then from there, guys, I'll be looking for that sell. But for now, it is still bullish. All right, so be very, very careful, you know, just selling it at the moment. Even though, you know, if you sell it at the high, you still have a good, you know, chance of catching it on a drop if it doesn't decide to go any higher. So that's still a good option. But if you would like confirmation, we need to wait till price breaks below, you know, 24,042. All right, and then you can definitely, you know, be ready for it to drop almost 1,000 points, or over 1,000 points rather, on NAS. Last but not least, US 30. All right, my team sold it from the high, so we caught over 200 and some odd points on US 30. There's liquidity all behind this trend line, guys, that hasn't been collected, and you can see major demand area here that also has not been mitigated. So I am expecting a huge drop on US 30, okay, but watching out for this demand area, right? Because we can get here, respect it, and start to rise once again, or even this demand area that sits kind of right here that initiated the break of what we see as a, you know, almost a triple, quadruple top, if you will. All right, so right there is that demand area that we got to look out for. But if we can, you know, break below this low, right, you can get, you know, I can pretty much guarantee that we'll go and sweep the rest of this liquidity to the downside. So a little mixed on US 30, as we can still drop and then turn bullish. But, you know, if we happen to get another opportunity from this high, we definitely want to take it for the drop, as there's plenty of liquidity and an order block that has been unmitigated to the downside. All right, guys. So there you have it. You know, major plays for this week, guys. Take advantage. All right. Don't just you sit down and watch this all pass you by. All right, you will regret it. All right, somebody else is going to take advantage, and you're going to wish it was you. All right, don't let that happen. But guys, in the meantime, in between time, y'all know what it is. It's your boy. Peace.
Want to get money? Want to get paid? Master Forex, like a sensei? Then you know you got to come and swing my way. And if you want to fast forward, hit replay.